Good morning, friends. I am with Bharti Gandhi here and giving some views on equalization levy. I'll clarify that these are entirely my personal views. I was a member of the e-commerce committee which gave the report, and which report has been accepted and introduced into the Finance Bill 2016. However, once the report is submitted, it is the ministry which takes decision, and once the ministry has included it in the finance bill, now it is for the parliament to decide. So whatever I am presenting here are entirely my personal views. Why equalization levy? This is the first issue. You can imagine that if an Indian resident taxpayer, if he avoids tax for even a crore of rupees, all hell will break loose on him. Now against this we have got a company called Google, which is earning 5,000 crores from India and not paying a single rupee tax. Similarly, Facebook is reported to have earned more than 100 crores from India, and under the existing law they are not liable to tax. So I am not commenting that these companies are doing anything wrong. The position is that the present law is wrong. Our Indian Income Tax Act is inadequate, and the OECD and UN models of double tax avoidance treaty, or in one phrase if you want to say, the existing rules of international taxation are outdated, they are inadequate to cover e-commerce. This is one position. The rules are inadequate. The fact is e-commerce companies are getting away without paying any tax. So how do you tax them? Simple. Amend the Indian Income Tax Act and amend the OECD model. Amend all the treaties. Now this is so simple to say, but it is not easy to get the OECD model changed. It is not in the hands of Government of India to change the model. In OECD there are 34-35 countries sitting together, and everybody has its own views, and USA is strongly against any change necessary to tax e-commerce. So you can't change OECD model. If you can't change OECD model, then changing the Income Tax Act is not going to help, because ultimately the treaty will override the act. So even if you change the Indian Income Tax Act, levy tax on all the e-commerce companies which earn revenue from India, ultimately you will have to refund, because under the treaty act will have no bearing. If under the treaty non-residents income is not taxable in India, then under the law you can't tax it. This is the background. In this situation, we want to tax Google, we want to tax Facebook, we want to tax all the non-residents earning revenue from India, and the model does not allow it. So what do? We have to go out of the model, and that is what equalization levy is proposing to do. The finance bill proposes on this equalization levy, it becomes a law outside the Income Tax Act. Like STT and service tax, this is a law outside Income Tax Act. So OECD model will not apply. Hence the question of the model overriding the existing law will not arise. Once a person pays equalization levy, he cannot file income tax return and claim a refund, because Income Tax Act does not apply to it. It is an independent and a complete code by itself. Okay, now what is equalization levy? Equalization levy is to be paid only by non-residents. Indian residents are not liable to this. So in India, supposing there are very large e-commerce companies like Flipkart, Snapdeal and all that, they are not covered at all. This law is to protect Indian residents, to provide level playing field to Indian residents and not to tax them. And I'll explain how we are talking of level playing field. If Flipkart earns revenue from India, and assuming it makes net profit in India, then it will pay the indirect taxes as are applicable and also pay income tax. But if Google earns revenue from India and Amazon.com, the US company, earns revenue from India, it will pay indirect taxes like import duties, etc., but it will not pay income tax. This is where the Indian residents are disadvantaged. So this law tries to make a level playing field. Now the law is in brief. Essentially, the non-resident e-commerce entity earning revenue from India is liable to equalization levy at the rate of 6%. They have to pay the tax. But like all other cases of non-residents taxation, the practical method for Government of India to collect tax is to ask the Indian payer to deduct tax at source. So even in this case, equalization levy is to be deducted by Indian resident who makes payment to the foreign company. When Indian residents have to make payment, the committee has taken extra care to ensure that small SSEs do not come into trouble. So home consumers are totally out of the responsibility. And if you say that from India, the people who use internet, people who use Google or Facebook, there are different estimates, but people say 30 crore people from India alone are using these facilities. It's a huge number. But how many people place advertisement on Google? You will come down to a figure of less than 1,000. How many people place advertisement on a foreign company providing e-commerce services to India? That small number will be affected by this. They will deduct income equalization levy at source and pay to Government of India. The procedure is simple. They simply go on deducting tax on all the payments. At the end of the month, within a week, they make payment to Government of India. At the end of the year, they file one annual return. Entire procedure can be completed by email and on the internet. They don't have to visit Government of India. Tax can be paid, return can be filed, assessment order can be passed, and assessment order can be served on the SSE, on the deductor also, just on the internet. So this is a very practical and efficient means of equalization levy. I have received several queries. In fact, my article is available on my website. Several issues are explained. But 2 or 3 major issues which have come up before me are like this, that ultimately the tax will be borne by the by the Indian resident. This is what happens in royalty and FTS also. My answer to this is, imagine a company like Hindustan Unilever Limited. They pay thousands of crores of rupees per year on advertisement. Even the chairman of Google will go to Hindustan Unilever to bargain and get the advertisement. We think that Google has the monopoly, but for Hindustan Unilever, Google is no monopoly. They can go to the press, they can go to magazines, they can go to television and radio. For them, Google is just one more medium of advertisement. The bargaining power is with Hindustan Unilever. And similarly, all those consumer goods companies who spend 100 crores or 50 crores or more, these companies have tremendous bargaining power. Let us not take it for granted that Indian residents don't have bargaining power and non-residents have bargaining power. Situation today is reverse. The world is in economy and India is growing. Indians have a better bargaining power than what we assume. So in my view, yes, large corporations from India will not suffer tax. They will deduct 6% from the payments to be made to non-resident and pay to the Government of India. Small people, small payers, yes, they may be affected. For this also, the committee has already thought out how to ultimately plan so that Indian resident doesn't suffer. Unfortunately, today, we cannot ask credit card companies to deduct tax at source and pay to government. The credit card mechanism is such that once you swipe the card, in 2 seconds your account is debited and the non-resident's account is credited. Now in these 2 seconds, to analyze out of the millions of payments which emanate from India, to analyze them, see what are liable for equalization levy and then deduct tax and then make net payment in 2 seconds is physically impossible. We are working on it. We have given plans. Now of course the committee, having submitted the report, committee is over. But Probably the CBDT, the Government of India, will appoint further experts to work out plans so that ultimately no Indian resident will suffer this tax. It will be completely passed on to the non-resident. Let us hope it works out. Another query is that on equalization levy, the non-resident who suffers this tax, he will not get credit in his country of residence. This is true. Because the treaty does not apply to equalization levy, so how can he get credit? Now for royalty and technical know-how fees, interest and other items of payment, normally the TDS rate is 10% to 15%. Considering this fact that they will not get credit, equalization levy is kept at 6%. So there is a substantial reduction in the tax, and probably the non-resident is compensated for not getting credit in his country. Companies like Google Ireland, who are coming from tax havens and as known publicly not paying any tax in the tax haven, for them the getting this credit of equalization levy has no significance. But of course there are many other SSEs who will pay equalization levy and will not get credit in their countries. Here also the committee has put up a proposal of how to ensure that ultimately they also get credit. But let me submit, this first chapter is the first step taken by Government of India in taxing the foreign e-commerce suppliers. This is a work in progress. Ultimately, probably within 2 years or 3 years, a fully developed system can be worked out where all these complaints will be answered. Thank you.